Good morning, or actually, good noon. I don't know, good time of day. Hi, hello. Okay, before I just explode with talking, let's make sure you guys can hear me and everything sounds good. Hello, by the way. So let's hear, okay, so you hear me. Okay. Hello, hello. Oh my gosh. Where do I even begin? There is so much to talk about. It's kind of funny we're doing a craft along because I could literally just talk for hours about like everything that's going on right now. But it's all amazing thing, almost all amazing things. Okay, where do I begin? We're here in this house. The house is so amazing. I'm trying to think, because obviously I'm working on these episodes, so I don't want to like duplicate things that I'm going to be like revealing or talking about there. So let me think about where I should start. The house is, I had an idea of how big it was, and I didn't actually understand how like humongous it is. It's like it's a mansion, like a real life haunted horror movie mansion. Oh, Gertie's here. The ceilings are 12 feet tall, and I'm 5'11", so like I'm a tall person. And standing around here is so unbelievable, just because you feel so tiny and small in here. Hello from Alaska. Hello, Jill. Oh my goodness. So the scale of the house is unreal to me, because I'm coming from my tiny little house in the forest. So this is a really big adjustment, but in the absolute best way possible. So hello from the Netherlands. Hello. Hello from South Africa. Oh my gosh, it's always so exciting to see that people are here from all over the place. Curious what internet you have? Me too. I don't actually know. I don't do the internet thing. My very handy captive has figured that out, and I'm hoping that there's no lags or that there's no interruptions. It's been a process because internet has never been in this house before. This house was built they started building in 1866. And the previous owner owned it for 20 years, and I think only lived here for just like a small window of time at the beginning, and then didn't live here. And the internet wasn't as massively like in everybody's house at that time, and it never made its way here. So the most modern technology that I have found in this house is like rotary telephone wires, which is so exciting. And by the way, I'm going to get a landline here at the house just so I can because I have like antique telephones and I want them to actually ring. It's probably going to be just like spam calls and like weird silliness like that, but I just want to hear them ringing. Hello from Massachusetts. Hello, Sarah. We are neighbors pretty much. I'm trying to think, how do I go about this? You know how like when you make a gigantic life change and there can be things that you regret about it, or sometimes you're just entirely regretful of the entire thing. Not any of that with this. This has been, I want to say, so much bigger and better than I ever dreamed it was going to be. So it's kind of very, very surreal that this is all actually happened. It's a real. So let me run down my little life story with you very quickly. I grew up struggling. My parents were struggling. There was a lot of like financial stress and turmoil. And then when I moved out on my own, that just went right along with me, only like exacerbated because you're sort of learning the ropes. But there was always this giant struggle. And then even when big things started happening, that struggle was still there, that financial struggle. And until Patreon and you guys supporting me here, this is the first time in my whole life that I've just been like, I can buy that thing, or I can do this thing, or I can have all of these amazingly fun things without being so stressed about it all the time. So it's super, I don't know. This is beyond the wildest fantasy I ever had growing up. So now that I've told you about that, I'm going to talk about something I have not mentioned yet, which is what I'm doing with the California house. Let's see. Someone said it's like stop motion. I want to make sure, is the video good? Video feed is a tad choppy. Video is freezing. Mostly okay. Let's see if we can address that really quickly. Because the video keeps on getting frozen. No. Hold on. Captive. We're having freezing. Hold on 1 second. I will be right back, I promise. Okay, we're gonna see. Hold on, it's still frozen. We're gonna figure this out in case. I'm just seeing a frozen video right now. Hold on 1 second. Okay, let's see. Are we back? And can you guys hear me? Let's see. The whole computer had to be shut down and restarted because, of course. Okay. Let's see, hopefully. Okay, I'm not seeing, oh wait, hold on, maybe it's just not catching up with comments. Okay, I can hear. Okay, seems better. Is it still choppy? How choppy are we talking? Looks like she is back. Way better. All good. It's working now. Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Looks fixed. Okay, so We were depending on the Wi-Fi to get the video streaming, and what we are discovering is it has to be, the computer has to be like hardlined into the internet to get it. Not choppy, not choppy, not, okay. Good, yay! The captive has saved the day. Okay. What was I talking about? Can anyone remind me? Oh, that sort of stuff stresses me out so badly. Okay. Let's see. I've got Gertie down here at my feet, and she's being very, very sweet. Oh my goodness, I'm so jazzed. Okay. The old house, the California house. Let's talk about it. So I was going to sell it. That was the plan, was to sell it. And we were obviously like preparing it and cleaning it and staging it and doing all of the, we had like a realtor had come and put the sign up in front. And then once I got it to a certain point, I started having like a weird panicky anxiety attack that there was only, you can only ask so much for a house based off of like the houses around it. It doesn't really matter like what you've done to this magical house. And the area was not a very pricey area, and neither is this house either. And so the most I was going to be asking wasn't going, like, I'd spent 6 years working on that house, doing all of the woodworking and doing all of this incredible carpentry and hand painting. And I was about to just give it away. And really, and it's like, once you sell it, you can't have it back. It's gone forever. And all of my memories of being there with Mr. Biggles and all of these exciting life events that are never, like, I found out I was gonna have a Netflix show in that house. I found out all sorts of amazing, there were so many amazing moments that happened in that house. And so I just was like, it's not that much money. It was not an expensive house to purchase. And the monthly payment wasn't very much. And I started thinking, what would I do with this house? And so where I was going before, when I was talking about you guys supporting me here and doing this incredible thing for me personally, I'm obviously having a blast. But if there's an opportunity or a way I can think of to give some of that back to you, that's what I want to do. I try to keep things not just one-sided. So I'm looking into it. I don't have all of the facts yet to make sure that I can do this, but I think I can. So you guys know that I do contests here, and you can do contests. I don't want to rent out the house, but I do think, and you guys are making this possible for me to do this. I think maybe a couple times a year we will do a contest. Oh wait, no. Oh no, mine has stopped. No, frozen. We lost her. Oh my gosh. Of course, it's frozen. Video frozen. Captive, please come back. Okay. Oh my gosh. I have been so excited about sharing this information, and now it's freezing. So hold on. Refresh. Mine is working. You're good. Mine is still working. Okay. Video. So I think the internet just has problems here. Okay. It's still working. I think the internet is it's a really old house. And we need to have like a real electrician come in and like hardwire all of this stuff and make sure that it's all the best it can be, because obviously this is what I'm doing for a living. So it needs to be good. Okay, where was I? What was I saying? Sorry about all the interruptions. It's so annoying. Okay. It's back. It's not frozen. Okay. Let's see. Okay, So the California house, I will try to keep an eye on this to make sure it doesn't freeze up on me again. So what I'm thinking of doing, because I don't want to rent it out, because what would happen there would be, for one, you might just get overwhelmed with people wanting to do that. And also dealing with like people having problems or who knows what can happen. And also the more people that go through it, the more damage it's going to sustain, obviously. So what I think I want to do is maybe just a couple times a year as an experiment, once COVID has calmed down and it's safe to like send people on planes and things. I think I want to do a contest here on Patreon, like we've always done, where I like throw out a question and whichever answer seems to be the funniest or I like the most. Because there's rules about it has to be a contest. It can't be a game of chance. So I'm thinking what I'm going to do is offer an all expenses paid vacation for like a week to the winner. And I will basically just issue you a certain amount of money so you can buy your own travel and make all of your own arrangements, but you're not actually spending any of your own money. And you come and you have permission to stay in this house for a solid week with you and your family. I just personally feel like that is an amazing use of the house because yeah, the bed and breakfast thing, like I said, if I tried to turn it into a business, I could just very quickly be overwhelmed and then I'd be upset if like a bunch of stuff was getting broken all the time. So I just feel like this is a fun way to, it's not really about how much money you have. It's just about you're here supporting me and you have the opportunity to do this. Now, that being said, I think I may, once I've done it and I feel like I'm confident about it, the top tiers that are here, I probably would be offering a few more options for that, just because the numbers are smaller. So it seems like that would be kind of a good incentive for that. And I don't know, I'm still figuring it all out, but I did want to share that that is what I'm thinking. Okay. Yes, please. Okay, good. It seemed like a fun idea. And again, if you're just there as a vacation, it seems like you would be nice to the house, as opposed to some people get funny with houses that they rent. So, okay. Yeah, I just feel like, and it's still there. So when I go visit my family, my house is still there. And it was weird because you'll see in the episode that's going to be coming out, I filmed like the whole house before I left. And when you look at that footage, it's sort of like you're seeing it with fresh eyes. And it's so beautiful. And I don't know, I'm really happy I'm doing this. So I'll have to like look into like insurance and things to do something like that. But that's my plan at the moment. Okay, so what else should we talk about? Because there is so much to talk about. The bats in the house, this house. It's going to be included in the episode, so I'm trying to think of like what I can tell you without ruining anything too funny, because I actually have video of me like removing bats from the house, which you see them at night and they're flying around like crazy. But the bats that are in this house are actually, I mean, they get a little buzzy in your face and they're always like foaming around their mouth, which I don't know what that's about. But they like, I'm joking, I'm totally kidding. They're just, I was sitting in this room and I was looking up, the crown molding is so elaborate in this house. And I was sitting back there and I was like, that's a weird little, like, what is that? Is that like a piece of mold up on the, it was like this little dark splotch. And I was like, this was the first interaction that we had. And I got closer to it and I was like, what is that? It looked like just a weird, like a sock that somebody had thrown up there, a very small sock. And then I got closer and I was like, oh, that's a dead bat. And I got my captive and he came down and he got his flashlight and he looked at it. He's like, no, that's a live bat. And so basically what had happened, nobody's been living in here. There aren't a tremendous amount of them in here. We had somebody come check it out. But basically what happened was I got a video of this. You'll see it. I got like a sock on a stick, and I had like a net on so that it wouldn't bite me. And I gently nudged it a little bit and it started squeaking at me. And then it sort of fluttered down to the floor and was like, okay, I'm dead. It's all over for me. And I gently, not touching it, got it into a box and took it outside. And it was like, I'm free. And it flew away. That was the first one. And it was cute and funny the first time. And then they're just kind of here. And they'll be flying around the house at night. So we have, the cats have their vaccines or vaccinations. We are keeping them sequestered in a room because werewolves specifically would kill a bat without any thought. And she's like fast as lightning. So I'm keeping them in there until we are sure there's no more bats in the house. But what will happen, Grant's parents came and stayed here. And while they were here, bats were flying around our heads. Like it was amazing. And I was reading, okay, let me tell this whole story. Let me start over. In all of the drawers of the house, the letters and photographs of the original family that built this house are still here. This house is a time capsule. It is so exciting. And so I've been spending too much time rifling through these handwritten quill and ink letters and photographs and all of this amazing, amazing treasure. And so I was right at a really interesting part of a letter that the daughter had written to her father in the 1800s. And Grant was yelling that there was a bat flying around. And I glanced around and I saw it flying over there. And I was like, I had a flashlight in my hand and I was reading this letter. And finally I got to a point where I was like, okay, this bat's going to land on me if I just sit right here. So I got up and started walking to the room over here, and I turned the flashlight around and the bat was beelining for my face. And I screamed like it was a horror movie and fell on the ground. And then I crawled into the next room and shut the door. The nice thing is getting bats to leave your house seems to be pretty straightforward. You can just open a door and wait a few minutes, and they usually they must sense the wind flowing or something, and then they get going on their merry way. But anyway, they're really cute. You've seen pictures of really close-up shots of them, and they just look like fungus on their face or something. These are adorable looking bats that, like I said, they squeak, and they seem very timid and nice. That's my bat story. And I've been photographing them. I wish you could keep them as pets, but my mom told me, or somebody told me, maybe the captive told me, that when you leave them in the wild, they live a really good amount of time. And when you try to keep them in captivity, their lifespan is way shorter. So I don't like that. And I also can't feed animals like critters, like insects. And I couldn't have a snake because I couldn't feed it a mouse. So for those reasons, the cats obviously are carnivores, and I feed them meat from cans, and somehow I'm able to make my peace with that. But if I can't see it, it's not real. I don't know. I haven't really thought this through. Let's see. I'm just talking. I'm not even looking at comments. I should look at comments for a second. No, bats aren't good as pets. I know. And an owl. Oh my gosh. I'd give anything to have a vegetarian owl as a pet that wanted to be here. Oh, so I didn't know anything about bat houses. I've never heard that word until I saw you guys talking about it on the post. I'm going to build a bat house. That's going to be an episode. That's the other unbelievable thing about this house. There is endless. Oh, wait, is that going to go? The clock's going to. Oh! Okay. The clock's going off all the time. What was I going to say? Gosh, I got distracted. getting a grandfather clock. I'm really excited about it. It's a big, old, haunted looking thing. And these are all of like I don't know what I'm going to do when this is all done, because this is all I've ever dreamed about my whole life. And when you get all of that, it's sort of like, well, shoot, I guess you just wander around and get older and decrepit, which I'm really looking forward to personally. Okay. Yes. So you guys, I was saying this house, yeah, I'm never going to run out of project ideas. There is infinite things to do in this house. And it's so old and it smells really old. Okay. So this is what I can tell you really quick before we get into flower stuff, because we're going to do that. Let me explain to you what the delay was and why I don't have episodes finished. So, we were preparing the house to sell, thinking that was going to be something, and then I decided not to. And then we closed on the house and drove across the country, and we got here. And by the way, that trip was amazing. I've filmed the whole thing. It's going to be the episode, or it'll be one of them. And it was such a blast. It was amazing. And then arriving, we filmed like me seeing the house for the very first time. And that was unbelievable. And so, where was I going with this? My gosh, I am very like all over the place today. Okay, I was telling, the delay. So we get to the house, and we've never actually spoken to the owner that lived here before. It's all just been communicating with realtors. And they had said the house is livable. And I think they said that very loosely because we showed up, and in my mind, I was like, and I'd seen the pictures, and the house looked livable. And we got here, and like I said, livable is a questionable use of the word because there was nobody lived here. And if you leave a house kind of for 20 years and you maintain it a little bit, but I mean, like actually like getting freshened and cleaned and having your food stored safely, that all needed. So basically we had to ourselves be, that was the other thing, you had to quarantine when you come to New York. You can't have people over. It's this whole thing. So we had to do all of this ourselves, cleaning the house, ordering things, and actually making it livable. And then while we were doing that, all of our stuff from the movers showed up. And it was so much more than I thought it was going to be, because I had been thinking I was selling the California house and I kept taking stuff and replacing it at the California house. So we had a storage unit that was building up and getting bigger. And it didn't seem that big to me until it was all over this house. And so I was like, well, I can't so we spent all this time cleaning the house. And then all of a sudden these boxes were everywhere. And I had to put all of those boxes away, just the two of us. And just now the house is ready for a candlelight tour of the whole thing. So all of my stuff is sort of sprinkled around the house, in addition to all of the stuff that was already here. So it's been kind of bananas. And I've just been going and going. I want to say the 4th or 5th day of unboxing things and picking up boxes and moving them, I hit whatever my body's limit of like lifting things is. And I felt like I was going to die, but I didn't. I lived. And now the house is really looking like something amazing. And I'm going to film the candlelight tour, I think tomorrow night. And then I'm hoping to have, because these episodes are sort of partners, they need to go together. I think either Saturday or Sunday this coming week, those episodes go live. And it's going to be worth the wait. Let's see. How long do you plan to live there? Based off of what it was like moving and how unbelievable this house is, I don't think I'm moving again. I think this is it. And when you see what it looks like, you will understand. It is so grand. Like I said, the pictures didn't do it justice. I didn't understand how big and tall and giant it was. And I have two options. Let me tell you my two options. If Patreon keeps going and everything keeps going well, and I somehow, I don't know, have some gigantic windfall where I end up with like gazillions of dollars, I think I would love to build my own fantasy mansion somewhere with my own like architectural designs implemented throughout the whole thing. Now, that's a big maybe. Who knows if that happens? If it does, amazing. But if it doesn't, this house has a lifetime of fun projects just waiting to happen here. So either of those two options, I'm very happy with. What room are you in right now? I didn't want to show too much of the house. I'm sitting in front of the front doors. So you're going to see everything as I go through here in the tour. And I considered setting this up in the solarium, which there's a solarium in this house. But I just figured I don't want to show too much yet. I just want you to see just the beginnings. Oh, you can tell the room is big. The echo is intense. And I had all of these clocks. I brought a ton of clocks with me. And in the California house, like they boomed and they made beautiful sounds. In here, it sounds like you're like dropping coins. The house is so big. That's why I need a grandfather clock to make that really like deep sound that you hear in the old spooky movies. Let's talk about spookiness. Oh wait, no, I'm not gonna do that. I'll get into that later. Let's do floral arranging. Okay. So I ran around to a couple antique shops and I was looking for a big old Victorian vase. There are two here. I like this one a lot. I think the colors of this one just kind of work in the room better. Hold on. Captive. Bisco. I'm kind of thirsty. I've been like talking and I didn't like plan out getting a drink. So let's see. Well, while we're waiting on something that may or may not even happen, let's talk about floral arranging and what I personally have feelings and thoughts on. So I've mentioned before, I can't keep live plants alive. I murder all of them. It's just sort of a fluke of nature that I've ever, like that the landscaping at the old house looked nice. Actually, it was a lot to do with my mom having some input and my next door neighbor giving amazing input and also coming and helping maintain. You can hear some of the cars out on the road here, by the way. So I can't be bothered to like water plants and like change out real flowers. And also that's crazy expensive. So I like fake plants because they work for pictures and they last forever. And all you have to do to clean them is to like hold them, sort of take out, you can hold them usually at their base and take them and spray them off usually with like a garden hose outside and tilt them so they dry out, bring them back in, they're good as new, everything's fine. And you've made this investment that you don't have to just keep doing over and over again. There is a right and a wrong way to do it. It really depends, and you have to do it a long time before you determine like, that looks like a fake flower, or that looks silly, or that just looks, there's like there's a look that if you're not careful, you can very easily stumble into with artificial flowers. But I don't know. All of these plants are fake. Everything's fake. And I am a gigantic fan of artifice and artificiality. So I don't know. I like fake flowers and they're wonderful. So now that I've got, like I said, I always buy like a gazillion when I go, and I only use a certain percentage on any given thing. But then you can make smaller arrangements for all over your house with the scraps and the leftovers. So that's what we're going to do. And oh my God. Okay. I'm sitting, there's all these soft chairs in the house, and I realized I needed to be at a certain height. So I found a stool to sit on, and I'm a little on the bony side at the moment, and it doesn't feel amazing to sit on. I think fake flowers give off a bit of a creepy vibe. I didn't think about that, but I'm on board with it. I like it. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, in my opinion, is with real flowers, you pour water into the vase, and the weight of that water kind of gives you some stability. But with fake flowers, you don't have that. And so they very often will become top heavy. So I always take rocks or earth. I've like literally gone outside and scooped dirt into the base of one of these if I didn't have like the foam to go in. So let's see if I can do this without breaking the vase, because you do also want to be mindful of that. I love artificial flowers because I can't accidentally poison my kitties. Honestly, that is another really, really good reason for them, because it seems like almost every plant you look up is poisonous to animals, and my animals are not terribly bright, and they would 100% be the pets that like started eating something deadly. No guest appearances from the kittens? Not quite yet. One of my kitties was behind on her vaccination of rabies, and so I've been really keeping an eye on her because it takes a while for the vaccine to sort of work through their system. So I'm not taking any chances by letting them wander the house yet until I'm certain that they are perfectly safe. How did the pets adjust? They don't care. I don't know if I should say that. They didn't have a single accident on the road trip here. I don't know how that's possible. They've been having accidents around my house the whole time they've been alive, so I guess they just have respect for a rental car and not a single accident. I don't think Gertie likes how big the house is. She's like used to following you around every single place you go. And I'm finding out she has a limit to how many times she's willing to go up the stairs. And finally, she's just like, you know what? If you keep going up and down these stairs, I'm just going to sit here and wait for you to make up your mind. And I'm doing this right by the microphone, so I hope that's not too loud. How many of your old forest house could you fit into your new house? Honestly, maybe 7. It's like, it's so big. I honestly don't even know how to answer that. A lot is the answer. It's humongous. It's, like I said, so the pictures we got of the house, there was no person standing in any of the pictures. So in photographs, for some reason, it looks so much smaller. It looks like you're like, that's the height of a door. And so you have like this understanding of how big of a door is. And I don't know, let me go back and stand here and see if I can't show you what I'm talking about. But here is this door, and here is me. And there's like room for 2 of me to stand on my head and still have a gap before you get to the ceiling. So it's just humongous. Oh, Gertie, hi. Gertie's down here. Hello. Okay. Do you need a lurch? Yes. If anyone knows a lurch or someone who is like 1,000 feet tall who wants to just hang around here and be spooky, I'm hiring. So just let me know. Okay. Let's see. Again, I had to sit on a stool just to look sort of normal on camera. If I was sitting in a normal chair, I would look like I was at like the little kids' table at a wedding or something. Okay. Do you feel like the lady of the manor? No, I feel like the maid of the manor because I haven't. So when I first showed up to the house, I was all dressed up because I was like, I don't want these ghosts to meet me looking like a hobo. And so I just was like, I'm going to look fancy when I show up. And then I was able to keep up that ruse for like a little while. And then I sort of fell back into, I'm very much like a Jekyll Hyde person where like Dr. Jekyll is the face I put on for the world. And everyone has a different percentage of their life that they live as that character and then as your Mr. Hyde. And I'm finding I spend a good portion of my life looking like a bag lady. And so I tried being fancy for a little while and then very quickly, and you're going to see in some of the video because I'm not able to like look glamorous throughout this whole process. So I'm trying to think. Initially, I did. When I first walked through the door, I was like, I am the lady of this house. And then when I realized I was cleaning up bat crap off the floor, it didn't feel like you don't ever see Morticia Addams doing stuff like that. So the answer is no. I felt like Nanny McPhee with those like teeth. So I'm really looking forward to the actually filming the candlelight tour because I will look glamorous and be sweeping through the house with candles and things. But the majority of the time, no, I look like I'm the lady that's cleaning the house. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is so heavy now. Okay. So now that you've got your rocks in your vase, oh, something I should have told you to do, and I did off camera, thank gosh, go through and snip off all of the stickers because all of these artificial plants come with stickers. And you don't want that there. I can be your Quasimodo. You're hired. There's a belfry, by the way, here. There's a widow's walk. Oh my gosh, just wait till you see. That's all I'm gonna say. Hair looks great, by the way. Let's talk about hair. This is the first time my hair has been down since we walked in the door the first time. There is something on this entire coast called humidity, and I've never really known it before. And I've been living in this California fantasy where you just style your hair and your hair looks like your hair for the rest of the day. And here, your hair might look like your hair when you first do it. And then 3 seconds later, like I've always thought like I have like okay hair. No, I have like, what do you call it? It looks like when you don't clean your drain for like a year or two and then you pull out something. That's what my hair is looking like all the time. So my hair looks, I can see it sort of. It's looking stringier at the moment, but normally I put hot rollers in my hair and then I let them down and I brush it out and it looks all like poofy and amazing. No, I can't use my hot rollers right now because if you use hot rollers here, your hair will literally just turn into a cotton ball. So I had to use a curling iron to do this. And if I were to go outside for 5 minutes, I don't know, it's very wrong. I think we all need to like write a letter to somebody because you'd think volume would be like a good thing that happens and it's not. Your hair gets big here and then super flat here, which is just universally an unflattering look. I could go on about this. I'm gonna like talk about positive things, but I said things have been mostly great here, and that has just been a very upsetting reality that I'm facing. Let's see. Hairspray is a wonderful thing. Hairspray cannot compete with what's happening here. There was a thunderstorm last night, and Grant, my captive, had the door open. And I was like, what are you doing? He's like, I want to smell the smell and hear that. I was like, do you see what is happening to your wife? Like, I can't have open doors here. We have to close everything and get dehumidifiers in every room. So I'm using a knife. I'm going to basically make slivers. They sell two different kinds of these. Some of them are real hard, rigid styrofoam. I don't like those personally. I like these soft, squishy ones. And they cut crazy easy. My hair always looks terrible when I visit Boston. I shouldn't focus on things that are negative because there are so many amazing things going on. So I'll explain to you what I'm doing here. Because, so basically these are the heights I'm getting, and you can break these off as you go along, but you're going to insert them, start snapping them off once you get like a sense of the size. But because they're oddly shaped, you kind of have to like make your own like makeshift filling, because it all kind of molds together. My hair loves humidity. I don't want to be friends with you. I'm joking. I was thinking that. I'm like, whose hair would do well here? And I'm thinking, if you're somebody with like a natural curl to your hair, that's like a pretty curl, and it like, Marilyn Monroe had like a really good natural wave to her hair. And so I imagine she would look nice. But regular people with stringy white girl hair don't seem to fare as well here. Can we see inside the vase? Let me see if I can. I'm basically just like, I don't know, can you see inside the vase? I've got a bunch of rocks, and I'm just kind of sticking in all these little cheesy nuggets, trying to like fill in any of the gaps. You really don't have to be too perfect, because what happens is this stuff is so soft that when you start like poking the floral arrangement in, it'll just squish together and kind of make its own little thing. Yes, it curls wonderfully in the humidity if it's cut properly. Well, how nice for you. I'm teasing, but I am jealous. Every time I snap one of these, Gertie like jolts. Were the vases already in the house? So that gold vase was, I had to go to an antique shop to find. This house has kind of gone through some funny ownership. It was maintained in the original family until the 1980s, all the way. So the original family lived here from the 1860s all the way to the 1980s. And then they sold it to what I believe is a very nice couple who ran it as a bed and breakfast for like 15 years. And so what had happened was somehow while they did that, they didn't go rifling through all the drawers. They really like left things and maintained them. But something they did was, I think they removed a lot of the really unbelievable artifact antiques. There are some here, but not too many. And there's lots of like tchotchke decorations that you do to try to fill out a space, but they have the glaring signature of the 80s. And so I had to get rid of all those. And now I am replacing them. So with the exception of just a few things, there wasn't a ton just in these main rooms of really special antiques. Now that being said, there were several hidden places, which I'm going to get into. I'm not going to say anymore, but I have really fun things. If you guys are liking what you see so far, this is kind of the tip of the iceberg. The garage, it's a carriage house and it deserves its own tour, and I'm doing it for the month of September. Is that September? Yeah. There's something really exciting in there. I don't want to say anything else. Okay, I'm feeling good about this. You kind of want to like poke your fingers around and just squish around as much as you can. If you feel anything slipping or moving, try to like cut a smaller piece and wiggle it in there. It's a body, I wish. That would be the most fun. What is the temperature over there now? Okay, well, the one thing I will say is no matter how hot it is outside, it does seem to, there's like the walls are insanely thick, like I don't know. I was going to say 3 feet of brick, but that sounds like too much. It's something a lot. 3 layers of brick, something like that. Can't wait for the holiday decor. I'm 100% having Patreon, like Christmas parties, Halloween parties, things like that. Probably, I don't know when I can start doing stuff like that. Not this year, because this year is just a dud. But I don't know how I will give away, because obviously you'd need like only a certain number of people, but we'll do like a contest or something. But that's what I want to do, because I'm going to have a grand piano over there, a grandfather clock in here. I'm going to have a permanent antique bar installed, and I want to have like murder mystery dinners here. And like you guys will be the guests, and it's just, there's really, honestly, there's never been anything like this, because if you watch a movie, it's a set. It's not a real thing. Even if they film it in a real house, they're not actually doing exciting, fun things with real people. And I get to do that here. So I'm so beyond thrilled about that. Let's see. Oh, and something else I can tell you. The people here are insanely nice. The neighbor next door brought over a homemade lasagna. They didn't know us. They just brought over a homemade lasagna because I think they had seen us like going back and forth with boxes and everything. And it was so amazingly sweet. And people have brought over just like gifts and just, I mean, it's been really amazing. I've never had that in my whole life. I've never had like, she's got things to say. I've never had that where people do things like that. It's sort of, I don't know if it's an East Coast thing, but it's really amazing. Okay. Let's see. Has anyone recognized you? Well, for one, I haven't been going out much at all, and everyone's wearing masks. So when I do get recognized when I'm wearing a mask, it's always kind of like, how can you even tell it's me? But that happens. Not like, it's not Johnny Depp or anything like that, but it does happen. Hope they don't start throwing bricks. Oh my gosh, I'd be very upset because the glass here is so amazing. It was fine on the Netflix show, but I'd rather, if you're gonna like throw a brick at the house, I'd prefer you to just tie a note to it and leave it on the porch. What kind of foam do you recommend? I really like this acidic carbohydrate foam. I'm kidding. I don't know the names of foam. It's foam. It's green and you get it at the hobby store. Let's see. Have you found any? I'm not going to talk about, somebody said, have you found any secret passageways yet? I'm not talking about secret passageways. I'm not talking about ghosts. I'm saving that stuff. You've got to like space out the excitement because there is a lot to share. Let's see. Okay, so now I'm feeling good about this. So let's see, how am I going to do this? I've got a whole bunch of floral stuff here. When the things that I have, my opinions about floral arranging and how to do it is when you go shopping for the stuff, always hold everything in your cart like together and like twist it, because certain greens don't go with other shades of green. And you kind of have to like eyeball it to make sure it's all sort of in harmony. And then you can, as you go through, you keep grabbing things and holding it against it. And if it looks right, you can keep it. And something else you want to do is you want to have big thing, like so in this one, I've got big giant fake roses that are cream colored. And so when you do that, you want to have staggered like stages of sizes of that color. So this is big. Then we've got like a median right here. And then we've got small, because you kind of want this sort of like almost starry night effect of big, small, medium, sort of interspersed. I'm having a stroke. Interspersed. I don't know. It's a word, I think. All over the place. And you kind of want to keep a lot of balance. The one thing that's going to be different for this arrangement is this is going to be the arrangement that sits right here on this little parlor table when you walk into the house for the first time. So I'm going to have to go through and make sure the whole thing looks good all the way around. And so some of my floral arranging, because I know if it's going to just sit over there, you put all of your like money pieces, all the things that like cost a bunch of money, right in the front. But I kind of splurged on this one because you need to have it looking amazing all the way around. I don't have foam, so I'm sticking everything in rocks and hoping for the best. Go get some dirt from outside. So again, like I said, if you don't have foam, rocks and dirt outside will do the job. Okay. What is your first project in the house? I don't know yet. I'm actually, because I'm so wrapped up in like getting here, living here, filming stuff for the videos that are coming out, I haven't actually sat down and gone, this is going to be the thing. I haven't decided. All I know is I think what I want to do is we're going to put out these episodes. These are August's episodes. In September, I'm going to do a couple cool things. There's going to be 2 episodes at least. One is going to be a tour of the carriage house, and I will figure that out. And then in the month of Halloween, we are going to have a craft, like a pumpkin carving craft along episode, which is going to be kind of like a party, like that we're all going to have and do together. And then that's kind of as far as I've thought at the moment, but there's going to be, I really want to do a handful of things around October just because we're doing Halloween at home this year. So I just feel like that's what you guys are paying me for. So let's make sure we make it amazing and fun. I'm so curious about if you are sleeping well. No, I'm not. I think there's just too much excitement going on. It's kind of like, no, I haven't been sleeping well. But there's also, it's humid, which right there. And I don't want to sound like a chicken, but I can't sleep by myself anywhere because I'm afraid. It's a big, when you see the basement, I will show you the basement, and you would not be able to sleep in a room alone in this house if you had seen the basement of the house. So I've got cats on me while I'm sleeping. It's a whole thing. So I have not gotten to the swing of like sleeping well yet, but I will at some point. Okay, let's do flowers. Okay, so the first thing you do, or I like to do, is I like putting something green in first so I can start building around it. And that way I can kind of determine the height of what I'm doing. Let's see, what do I have here? I didn't actually pick up as much greenery as I normally do. I think these ones. And then this is a tough one because you don't want to make you don't want an arrangement to be too low, but you also can make them too high and big and they start looking kind of nutty. So I'm using heavy duty wire cutters. It's very hard to do this and look dainty. You start looking like a lumberjack. Okay. Let's see. 2 months of Halloween just start now. That sounds good. So let's see. See, that feels too tall for me. Kind of feel like Hercules. Okay, that feels reasonable, I think. Can you guys even see the top of that? No. Sounded like breaking bones. Good. I don't think I want anything taller than that in this. So let me do 2 of those. Keep waiting. Gertie's like down there getting concerned. Okay. Are you sending out Halloween cards this year? So I have a design in mind for that. So yes, I'm sending out a card. I'm hoping I can get it done for Halloween, but there is a possibility I might be turning it into a scary Christmas card. So I have to design something, find a printer, and sort of start working on that. But within this year, you will receive, if you are in that tier, you're going to be getting, I will be doing all of that stuff. Okay, hold on. See, that feels too tall for me. That's better. I will get married on Halloween this year. Congratulations. That sounds amazing. If I had actually like thought things through, I think I would have wanted to do something like that as well. Okay, so now I'm taking, like I said, I like starting a base of green and then starting to build up around that. My captive is here. Could I have a drink of water? I'd love to see what you do with some fancy spooky drapes. I will 100% be doing that. Like I said, with this house, you're not going to run out of amazing fun things to do. Okay, so like I said, this needs to be 3-dimensional, so I'm going to have to make sure I'm working kind of in thirds on different areas. Thank you. Okay. Oh my gosh. I needed that really bad. I'm going to try to move this in a way. Okay, I'm trying not to flash you guys, but also keep my skirt closed. This is a dress that I made when I went on a vacation with my mom to New Orleans. I know it's a low priority, but I really want that dress form video. I so want to make that. I'm so sorry I lagged on that. If I could go back in time, I would have prioritized that because I really, really want one for myself. So realistically, that'll probably be early next year, but I have to prioritize that. It's got to happen. Okay. Okay. Let's see, what am I doing? So now that I've got that started, I want to start taking some color, and I'm going to start with the darkest, most muted color, which is kind of like a plum. And again, this is a fairly good big size. Those are literally just like shooting across the room. Too tall. Okay, somebody said, what are you doing for meals? Are you able to cook? Kind of. Yes, we are getting by, but there's something really great about this house that most people would find as a deterrent. There was at some point probably a functioning Victorian kitchen here, but Victorian kitchens generally were not terribly fancy. It was basically for servants to be using. It wasn't glamorous. And then they had like a 1950s kitchen put in at some point. That got dismantled when the people who ran it as a bed and breakfast moved in, and the parts of it are still here. So I might rebuild it somewhere else. And they put in this really junky, silly looking little 80s kitchen. It's hardly even a kitchen. It's basically just like a chunk of like sink and a stove. So I don't feel bad getting rid of it. It's barely functional as a kitchen right this second, but that means I get to design my fantasy kitchen from scratch. So that is going to be, it won't happen in a single episode, but that is happening here. And it is going to be kind of like a fairy tale looking thing. It's going to be awesome. Again, don't be afraid to cut these back too far if they're giving you guff. Okay. That's feeling like something to me. And you want to take, I know this is kind of, I almost should have had a camera set up right here, but you take the pieces and you can bend them around. And I would say the biggest thing to keep in mind with fake plants is they're fake. It's like plastic and silliness. So, I mean, and it's there for you to do whatever you want with. So feel free to like bend and wiggle them so that they look how you want. Because when you buy them at the store, they're basically packaged in a way that they can be transported, but they aren't splayed out the way they're supposed to be. So it's kind of your job to do that with them. Are you going to bring people in to help with the kitchen? Yes. So that is one thing, is in the past, I have always done everything myself. And with a house this size, that's just not reasonable to continue doing. The California house was a very small, and I also had lots of time. And because obviously filming is so time consuming, there isn't time for me to really do everything. So I don't know how I'm going to approach that yet, but I will be doing that. There are going to just be certain things that I will have to sort of delegate and design myself, and then have somebody else actually implement some of them. Now, that being said, I love woodworking, and so I'm going to always continue doing that. Okay, so now I'm going to start taking these dusty pinks, and I've got 3 of them. I kind of usually wait towards the end to start working in my really expensive, fancy parts, because the initial stuff tends to get buried when you do this. So you're gonna move your vase. Okay, that is like, and I'm realizing, hold on. Okay, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna try to, I know my face is getting blocked, so. Hi. One more. I love the peonies. I do believe these are called peonies, but also in addition to that, I don't know anything about plants. So that's sort of kind of the funny thing about me showing you how to do floral arranging is I don't know like plant names or any of that. I just know what I think looks pretty. And there are lots of people who do beautiful floral arrangements and have a lot more experience than I do. Okay, so let's see. Now I've got, what do I want to do now? Because there are a lot of options here. Okay. Let me see what these start doing. I've got these really beautiful, so now this is going to be one of those moments that I don't know the word of a plant. I don't think they're ferns. Maybe they're ferns, something like that. And these I want to really pop, so I'm going to just wiggle them around, and they're just going to add a little, okay, that needs to be cut. Essentially what you want is to be creating a lot of texture and variety. If you ever buy flowers from like a really, really high-end place that does floral arranging, you'll notice that they have a lot of like tried and true traditional beautiful stuff, and then pops of things that look really exotic, which I really love. Okay, I'm missing this. I was like, where did I see those? Thank gosh I took off all those stickers before I started filming, because that project alone could have eaten up a ton of time. Oh, and I left one on over here. Does the captive share your aesthetic? I want to say initially not too much, but I was also doing my aesthetic on a serious budget. And then he kind of got more into it, and then now he seems to really, really like it. So you just want to kind of pop those in at different places and then just start filling things in a little bit. Let's see. So now I'm going to take one of the pops, one of the big ones. And I do want this one to be tall and high up. How do you keep these flowers clean? So what I'll do is in the future, when I need to dust this essentially, is I'll take it outside and hold it here at the base and maybe wrap like some cloth around here so it absorbs anything. Tilt it over on its side and spray it off outside with a hose, and then tilt it down so that it can dry out, and then bring it back in, and that usually seems to do the job. looking good. I think I need to stand up. Okay, I'm almost wondering, should I set this down here? Can you guys see the top of me? Okay, is that better or worse? I don't know. The rocks don't come out. So if you hold them, so the rocks are put below that foam stuff. So once you get all that foam packed in there, those rocks aren't loose anymore. They're pretty much locked in. Okay, so I'm gonna take another one of these. And now that it's kind of beginning to take shape, let me, I'm gonna move this right here. Okay, seeing the top is helpful. So yeah, in this instance, you want a peak flower to be floating around right at the very top. Let me move this right there. Okay, I'm feeling like I can see everything a lot better. And now I'm going to start taking some of the fancy ones and working them throughout. Now this is a challenge you don't find when you're using real flowers, is cutting them is not nearly so difficult. And you can take them and bend the base or stem of them to get them to start sitting exactly where you want them to. Let's see. And you want to cut some even shorter because you do want them to be sort of spaced out. So I've got like a dead spot right here. Some of these, I swear, are harder to cut than others. So right there, something I want to do now is I also got these big ones, and anyone who knows about flowers will probably be able to tell you what this is. It might be a mum, but because I don't know what to say. So anyway, I've got these big cream roses and this different textured one. And because I don't want to put two of the big roses right next to each other, I'm using a nut, but I do want something big right here. I'm going to cut this down. It's a dahlia. See? People know what's going on. I'm going to wiggle that in right there. And I've only got two of the dahlias. And so I want that other one to really count for something. So I'm going to look for the place that it's going to pay off the most, and I think it's going to be right there. By the way, this is like coming out really pretty looking. I don't know what it looks like to you guys yet. Okay. So let's see what that's starting to look like. And I'm liking the staggering that I'm seeing with it. See, that one is too long. You can always pull them out and start snipping them again. It's better. And even this one, this is one of the first ones we did. I'm finding it's just too long. Perfect. I think better. Okay. Well, if it looks beautiful so far, wait until we start puffing it up because it's not there yet. Now this is one of those things, this was an experiment. I saw these little fluffy things and I feel like at the moment, sometimes things look super fake and then, but once you like wiggle them into an arrangement, they actually look really good. These at the moment, as I'm holding them, look too artificial to me. Let's see. Now I've got these really pretty ones, but I'm waiting to see. Okay, this is what I need to do. So now that I've got my big pieces, I mentioned you want to start working around smaller ones. And you just want to keep kind of a spacing happening between your colors. Okay, somebody said they're excited to see the Venus flytraps. I found these in the Halloween department of Michael's, and they kind of really go with this, and it's going to give it like a spooky look. And even though on their own they actually look really good, I think, but it's going to add a slight element of creepiness to this. Fake spiders and webs. I should have done that. And again, you kind of just want to keep rotating around. Looking for spots that need stuff. This is one of my last. I'm going to get down here because you kind of want to see it from all of the angles if you can. So that's starting to look good. And it's actually really helpful having a camera right here because you can see like right here is a dead spot. Are you guys having fun, by the way? I don't know. I felt like a floral arranging episode would be not interesting enough, but I'm having really like a good time doing it. So you can take them and gently bend a little, move your fingers, bend, 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 and you'll get like a natural kind of twist to it. And that's how, if like a flower isn't facing the right way, you just do that and it starts showing up for you. Same with that. Same here. And we've got like a little spot right here that needs something. I'm liking the way that looks. Ooh. Staying in any one specific position starts to wear on you after a little bit. Okay, so now you've got big ones, medium ones, slightly smaller ones, and we're gonna get even smaller now. So these, how many do I have? Sometimes you have to make sure you're gonna have enough to do what you want. I feel like I can spare one of these just by cutting off these little pieces. And you kind of just want to pepper those in anywhere that feels natural. And again, bending them just a little bit at a time. Okay, that to me is looking really, really pretty. This, I'm not sold on this. Maybe that it's okay, that's better. And the other thing is, as you build these, you can walk away and walk around them and sort of get a better idea of like if you're liking how everything is coming together. And to me, I don't know how this looks to you, but if you twist around, it doesn't have that like fake floral arrangement look. And this one, I'm bending in like an S. I don't know if you could see that I did that. This one kind of curves like this, which can happen in nature. And I kind of feel like gives it almost like a Maleficent horn kind of look. Okay. All of that. Let's see. I'm gonna do the same thing. I feel like I'm a very strong person until I start trying to cut these. Somebody said, please share the pattern you used on the dress. I made up this dress, so there was no pattern, but I should, at some point, it would be nice if I could figure out a way to create patterns of some of the stuff that I make. Actually, I've done that with the apron, so maybe what we'll do, because there's so much like holiday stuff coming up, I don't think I'm gonna be doing too much seamstressy things right away, but I'll have to figure out a way to create patterns of like the clothes and things. And this is a very simple dress, so maybe that would be a good one to start with. Is there a cemetery on the property? No, but the original lady of this house had the local cemetery. Like there's a big stone structure as you pull up to it, and she actually financed the construction of that. And she passed away just as they finished it. And you can go, and the entire original family that lived here is all buried in the same place. So we're gonna go visit them. I've already gone and visited them, and it's beautiful. Is this looking okay to you guys? I think I'm really liking how it's looking. Okay, so I love these little poofy things. I don't know what they are. I want to see if I can't break them up. And get some of the individual ones. That's something else they do, is they give you like these pronged ones. And some of those are going to be helpful, but also you shouldn't feel like you have to deal with that. You can kind of just snip off little parts. And that way you can just pepper them in wherever you see. How pretty that looks. I love that. Wherever you think there should be one. I'm really, really liking how that's looking. get kind of quiet as I get really involved in this. So I apologize in advance for that. This is another one I'm bending in that S shape I talked about. Liking how that's looking. Okay, I think it's time for these guys. So these are those Venus flytraps that I found in the Halloween section of Michael's. And I want to say, I didn't realize Michael's sold as cool of stuff as that during the Halloween season. So if you've ever seen something like that that you feel like could work year round, I bought like everything they had. I was like, well, I could just use those all over the house. And they're going to be not available after October, I'm assuming. So, okay, I like that already. Okay, I really, really, really like these. Michael's has great. Yeah, I feel like they have like taxidermy bone looking things that are actually really decent looking. I'm starting to get to the point here where things are not fitting very easily, but that's actually kind of a good thing because it means it'll sort of all hold in place, which is definitely what you want after putting in this much work. That looks empty right there. Okay, that's like running away from me. I want to make a Halloween door wreath with the Venus flytraps. I love that idea. Weird. You really want, basically, the two sides that you're going to see the silhouette of the arrangement or of the vase. That's kind of where you want to put a lot of your energy and focus. I'm not 100% on that one. And I'm not seeing enough of these guys yet. It's basically just a very slow, finicky little, you work on it a little bit and see how you're liking it. But I can tell you right now, this arrangement isn't going anywhere. As far as like, it's heavy from the rocks, it's not gonna fall over, and it's not gonna fall apart either, which sometimes if you don't put enough stuff around, it can do that. I might have to go to another Michael's and get even more of these because I like them so much, I can't even tell you. And like in this instance, I don't feel like they look silly and fake. I feel like they look amazing and cool. Like hearing myself make very funny noises while I'm sorting this all out. I don't like that. Something about that's bugging me. Let's see, what do I have over here? Oh my gosh, I forgot some of my favorite things, and it's these little things. Does anyone know what this is? They're little, they almost look like seed pods. And I love adding them to arrangements because, like I said, they add like a texture. Okay, I think I'm gonna pull this rose out and replace it. I'm feeling really good about this. I will have to like put it on the table, stage it around, and then look at it over the next couple days just to make sure I like how it looks. So I'm looking at the camera so I can see if it's looking even all around. I feel there's a few spots that need some work, but I'll mess with those. I do have these, which these look super cheapy, but sometimes you get home and you find like that thing that looked silly actually works really good. And see, that actually, I like that there. I would say those borderline on looking like cheapy fake flower stuff. But they also look really pretty. I actually really like them. I feel like they're making it kind of pop. Oh, someone said if it looks too plasticky, you could try using some dry shampoo. That is a super good idea. Oh, I'm losing parts. Okay, my hair doesn't look crazy yet, but I promise you, if I were to step outside for 5 minutes. Okay. Oh, there's the tag. That would kind of kill the effect to just have like a giant like Big Lots tag or something hanging off. That one's actually having problems. So funny, I feel like this is almost making the whole arrangement, and I almost didn't buy them because I felt like they looked silly at the store. I actually used a ton of what I bought. Which is always nice. Does the house have a working AC? No. It has like this really complicated heating system. And then I'm kind of feeling like if I just keep adding things, it's going to start looking bananas. So it has like 2 heating systems, which I don't know how to operate yet. Let's see. So that's a show. That's looking pretty good. I like how that looks. I'm too far from the mic. Please speak up. Oh, was I talking off over in this direction? Sorry. See, sometimes you can go too far and then it sort of starts to look bananas, and I don't want to do that. I was so sure. Okay, this was what I wanted. So this is kind of like a hanging fern thing, and hopefully, if I'm able to make these work, it'll give it that old Victorian kind of look, or it'll just look like a big mess. Let's find out which. I don't know that that's making any difference at all. You know what? I feel like those are looking silly. Maybe down here. Oh, see? They're working there. Okay, that, I'm really I don't know if you guys can see what that did, but I'm liking that a lot. I think I need to stop. I feel like I'm loving the way it looks, and I could take it from looking elegant and pretty to looking, ooh. Okay, let's see. Oh my gosh, I've been on my knees too long. All right, so that is the arrangement. And when you see it up close, you can see all of the, and now that I'm looking at it from like a higher perspective, I'm like, it's got like a bald spot right there. And I'll probably go and I'll tweak it little bits, but that said, I don't know, I think it looks really nice. Okay, I'm gonna set it up all over here. Where could I set it that it wouldn't be a nuisance? Maybe right there. Okay, I really like it. I'm super, super jazzed about it. Set that right there. I'm trying to think. It looks pretty good from all of these different angles. Okay. Yay! It happened, and nothing terrible happened. We got the internet back going. Okay, I'm jazzed. So that is literally going to sit right here on this table, which I will show you in the episodes. Right here, when people walk in the door, this will be on display right in the middle, just like an old spooky movie. So to wrap up this episode, let's do a quick Q&A. If you guys have any questions, I'll try to answer a few quickly. Thank you guys so much for being patient with me, by the way. I so greatly appreciate that. I tend to always think things are going to be super easy, and then you move into a new place and oh my gosh, there are a million things you didn't really think about. Okay. Did you take Abernathy and Mr. Biggles? Yes. So that was an upsetting thing to do, but I dug them up and I put them in a very secure styrofoam plastic whole thing. We drove across the country with them in the car. And now, because enough time has passed, there was nothing gross about it. And there is a totally metal chest that was here at the house. That is where they are. And I think I'm just gonna keep them there until I die and they get to be buried with me. Will you incorporate the Golden Girls into your house? Absolutely. I just don't know how yet. I've already got my lobster mold in the kitchen hanging up. Let's see. For the $40 and up tier, are there any special things coming? So by the end of the year, if you're in the top tier, you will be getting a really interesting, cool gift. And I have something else planned that I have to work on but within this year, yes. What made you decide on this house? It really, it's a combination of a few things. It had been in my saved houses for probably like 6 months or something. And then for some reason, I was just looking through and I was like, why am I not looking at this more seriously? And once that got triggered, I started looking at more and more about it. And I was like, wait a minute. It was sort of like, why wasn't I giving this enough attention? And then once I kind of decided, you know what, this has everything I'm looking for. We pulled the trigger and it took a while, but it all worked out. My daughter asks, what's your favorite smell? I really like baked goods smells. It's just one of the things that if I walk in somewhere and there's the smell of baking, it's just what I'm drawn to more than anything else. And I really love pumpkin scented things too. What are the winters like? I'll let you know. I don't have a clue, and I have a feeling that I am in for a shock. Let's see. Will you have a sewing room? Yes. The attic is terrifying right now, like genuinely scary. And multiple rooms. And so I'm actually going to turn one of those rooms into a beautiful, it's like a steepled roof room. And I'm going to turn it into my sewing room. That's kind of the amazing thing about this house is there's going to be a room for everything. I haven't counted the rooms, but there's just a gazillion of them. Get space heaters. It's a really good idea. My biggest fear is burning down this house because it's been here so long. I am one of the stewards of this house and it just has to keep going after I'm gone. So I'm trying to be very careful about that. How big is the house roughly? So they don't include the attics, the carriage house, or the basement. And so without all of that, it's like 53 or 5,600 square feet. Am I right about that? That sounds right. Let's see. What will you be using the basement for? So I actually want to have some work done down there and create basically a Tales from the Crypt, like witch's lair down there. So that's my plan for the basement. Have you walked the entire house yet? No. I know that sounds bananas. There are there's a few areas where it seems too dark and scary to get to. And I'm like, okay, maybe once this is cleaned a little bit better. Just got here. Hi, Christine. Hi, Tracy. Let's see. What needs done first? Everything. That is one of those, it's like, there's some asbestos in the basement. And I think really that needs to be a priority. And we're going to have like a professional service deal with that. So, and there's some mold. It's a really old house and stuff has to get addressed first. But I feel like there's just an endless amount of things to tackle. Let's see. The property taxes must be insane. They are. I would say that is one of the most terrible things about houses in the state of New York. And I don't know if it applies to all of them, but the bigger ones, it sure seems to. So I don't know. I'm hoping that works out fine. Let's see. Is your captive renovation handy or just tech handy? He is handy in everything. He is, you know, it took a while for me to pick the right one. And when I did, I picked one that is able to do a lot of great things. Is it hard being far from your family? Yeah, I don't think I had really thought about that entirely. I I think my parents are going to come out. I think at the end of next month. It's sort of we're like researching right now, like what's the safest way you can do that? It's very, oh, we can talk about COVID a little bit. My brother has had it, and we strongly suspect that my parents had it at the beginning of the year, kind of, well, like right when it started happening. So we're not sure about that, but we're trying to be smart about it. Let's see, a hedge maze. Oh my gosh, I would love that. Let's see. Do you feel like it's your home yet? Yes. I actually feel like, I think I mentioned right at the beginning of the stream that like when you make a big change like this, like, are you going to regret it? Or are you going to be happy about it? Because obviously once you're here, your pets are here, you've bought it, it's done. I can't even, like the happiness is kind of like bubbling out of my ears. It's everything I wanted it to be. The area is everything that I wanted it to be. The antique shops are unbelievable. There's a place called Google, Little Falls, New York, that's like 10 minutes from this house. And it's just like, oh my gosh, it's everything I wanted. And then like 5,000 pounds more. I'm really excited in case that isn't being conveyed. Have you found the Victorian swimming pool covered up? No, and I don't think there was one. I think that was just some comment I saw somewhere and it turned out to not be true. Now that being said, if things keep doing well on here, I'm gonna have one put in. That's really amazing and cool. Okay, so I think we're gonna wrap this up. Thank you guys again for being patient with me. Saturday, most likely Sunday next week. Both of the new episodes are going to drop, I think, right at the same time. And get ready for some very exciting Halloween fun because this place is going to provide a ton of it. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you very soon.